Most people think money problems look obvious. Debt, missed payments, bad budgets. But some of the most dangerous money behaviors don't look like failure at all. They look disciplined, strategic, even impressive. And sometimes they're not really about money. They're about fear, control, validation, escape. This video isn't about diagnosing anyone. It's about recognizing patterns. When a financial habit stops being flexible, stops being rational, and starts becoming a compulsion. So listen carefully, because if money is controlling your emotions, your relationships, or your sense of safety, that's not just a finance issue anymore. Let's start with number 10. Number 10, the can't give response. This one hides in plain sight. Someone has a stable job, an emergency fund, regular retirement savings, and yet they're never generous. Not with money, not with time, not with help. They skip birthdays, they never pitch in. They feel annoyed when someone needs support. Now, generosity isn't mandatory, and frugality alone isn't a disorder. But when someone consistently lacks empathy despite abundance, it can sometimes overlap with emotional shutdown, unresolved trauma, or certain personality patterns. Money becomes a wall, a way to stay above people instead of connected to them. Healthy generosity is intentional and budgeted. Unhealthy withholding feels cold, irritated, and defensive. Number 9, the magic number obsession. I just want to hit 1,000,000. Okay, but why? For some people, that number isn't a goal, it's a belief system. They believe once they reach it, they'll finally feel safe, respected, allowed to relax. But when you ask how life changes before that exact number, there's no answer. This can overlap with anxiety and obsessive thinking, where money becomes a substitute for certainty. Morgan Housel put it perfectly. When most people say they want to be a millionaire, what they actually mean is I want to spend $1,000,000. If your financial goal has no emotional explanation, it might not be a goal at all. It might be a coping mechanism. Number 8, never enough. Some people feel just as financially insecure at $1,000 as they do at $1,000,000. They hit goals and feel nothing. They earn more and still feel behind. They save aggressively but live in constant fear. This pattern can be linked to chronic anxiety or trauma responses, where the brain refuses to register safety. Money stops being a tool. It becomes an oxygen mask you never trust. The result is a life postponed indefinitely. Healthy saving creates options. Unhealthy saving creates paralysis. If spending even small, planned amounts causes panic or shame, that's worth paying attention to. Number 7, reckless spending as escape. On the opposite end of the spectrum, some people don't hoard money, they burn it. Impulse purchases, spending sprees, not because they're careless, but because the spending does something. It numbs stress, distracts from sadness, creates a temporary sense of relief. Compulsive spending can overlap with depression, anxiety, ADHD, impulse control issues, or bipolar mood cycles. The high fades, the regret stays. Healthy spending is planned enjoyment. Unhealthy spending is emotional anesthesia. Number 6, gambling, renting hope. Gambling has never been easier. Sports betting apps, crypto leverage, options trading, online casinos. What makes gambling dangerous isn't the math, it's the promise. I can fix everything tonight. For people struggling emotionally, that promise feels like salvation. Problem gambling often overlaps with addiction pathways, depression, and manic behavior. The danger isn't losing money, it's losing the ability to walk away. If gambling feels secretive, compulsive, or necessary, it's not entertainment anymore.
Number 5, scamming and moral exceptions. Some people don't gamble or overspend. They exploit. Fake gurus, pressure sales, manipulative pitches. They justify it by telling themselves everyone else would do the same. While not every scammer has a mental illness, chronic exploitation without remorse can overlap with personality patterns where empathy is absent and power is the goal. money becomes permission to cross lines. This matters because you can't reason someone into having a conscience. Real wealth doesn't require urgency or deception. Number 4, stealing for the rush. Not all theft comes from desperation. Sometimes the act itself provides relief. The adrenaline, the control, the temporary quiet in the brain. Compulsive stealing can be linked to impulse control disorders and stress-related coping loops. It's not quirky, it's dangerous. One moment can permanently define your future. Number 3, sabotaging others to get ahead. This behavior is quieter, but just as damaging. Taking credit, withholding information, undercutting coworkers or customers. Sometimes it's selfishness, sometimes it's fear. For certain people, other people's success feels threatening to their survival. Money becomes status. Status becomes safety. If your financial plan requires someone else to lose, it's not strategy, it's insecurity. Number 2, borrowing with no intent to repay. Borrowing money isn't the red flag. Borrowing repeatedly with no plan, no intention, and no accountability is. This pattern can overlap with addiction, compulsive behavior, or personality traits where other people are treated as resources. The damage isn't just financial, it's emotional. Trust erodes, relationships collapse. The healthiest sentence in money is, I can't pay you back, so I'm not going to ask. Number 1, financial paranoia and control. Finally, the behavior that often hides behind responsibility. Obsessive account checking, panic over small purchases, controlling a partner's spending, needing constant certainty. For some people, this overlaps with anxiety disorders, OCD-like checking behaviors, or trauma responses. The obsession isn't about money. It's about never wanting to feel powerless again. Money is meant to create peace, not demand vigilance. Ultimately, this video isn't about calling people broken. It was about recognizing something personal finance rarely admits. Sometimes the budget isn't the problem. The nervous system is. If any of these behaviors felt uncomfortably familiar, that doesn't mean you're doomed. It means your brain might be using money to solve a problem money can't fix. And when your mental health stabilizes, your financial life usually follows. Because the healthiest money behavior of all is knowing when to ask for help.